Steve Anderson. I'm the VP of Benefits. 29 years. My core job function is benefits administration, which encompasses management of our group benefit policies like our health, our dental, vision. We also manage a large multiple employer 401k plan that I work with. My team does enrollments, disenrollments, life events of employees who need to enroll in benefits. We manage the portal that people enroll in benefits at. We manage all the ACA, the large ACA is the Affordable Care Act, and we manage the applicable large employers who have to do special reporting related to their size, telling the federal government that they are compliant with the law. And there's a reporting mechanism for that we manage for those clients. A whole bunch of other regulatory and compliance and payment of policies, all of those things we manage as well. So there's 6 of us total, and I have a couple of individuals that are focused on paying carrier policies, so that we receive list bills from the carriers, and we pay those policies. I have an individual who maintains the benefits portal for our employees who are logging in to enroll in benefits, or if they have a life event, for example, they get married or they have a baby and those dependents need to be added to the plan. There's a whole process that's in place for our clients, for the employees to log in and enroll in benefits. And it's somewhat unique by client, so there's a lot of maintenance that goes into that process. They also manage the contributions that the clients decide to make towards their employee benefits. Every client wants to maybe do something a little bit different, and so we need to make sure that we're tracking that and that the employees are presented with the correct rates and that the employer contributions reflected there. So one person that does that. I have another individual that processes those enrollments. Once they come in, then there's a whole process for making sure that the employee meets eligibility requirements and that they're getting enrolled properly, that we have all the documentation that we need to process their enrollment. One person that just is specifically focused on our applicable large employers, making sure they're compliant with the ACA. She also takes care of all the orders to enroll dependents. So we receive orders from every state has their various agency, but whatever the agency is in that state will send us orders to enroll dependents if that was part of a divorce or part of a custody issue, and they're ordered to enroll those dependents. So I went to school at the University of Utah and obtained a degree in political science. As I was getting that degree, this may be more than you want to know, but as I was, I really liked organizational behavior, and that kind of led down the path of HR. And I thought, I think I would really like to get into HR in some capacity. And so when I started at Helpside, I actually started out in the HR space initially, and then a few years in, they asked me to move over to employee benefits specifically. Before I did that, I had my manager here had encouraged me to go get a master's degree. So I went back to Utah State and I got a master's degree in human resource management. I believe I graduated in 2000 or 2002. It doesn't matter. Okay. It was an opportunity to work in the HR space. And that's really, as I got my bachelor's degree, I felt like I really want to work in this space. And so I came to Helpside. And it's great exposure for an individual who wants to work in HR because you get to work with so many different companies who have just various challenges. So, it's not like working at one company in HR where you maybe face similar circumstances over and over. You really get a large variety in the HR space to work with people and problems and help them solve problems. So I think it's definitely a combination. We definitely work closely with the leadership team to address problems that we face. We are a little bit sectioned off into our own areas. So sometimes I feel like I'm just working with trying to solve benefit problems. But as you know, if it carries over to payroll or it carries over to our sales team, I don't know. We do work together as a management team under the direction of our CEO and COO. They'll bring problems to the table, and I think we have a great collaborative approach to try to solve problems. I don't know. I'm probably not answering what you're looking for. Well, one would be just a different approach. I think a lot of small businesses are innovative, and they definitely approach problems in a different way. And so us being able to have a solution, being able to provide a solution that meets the needs of those different approaches, I think is key. I think that's, that could be challenging at times, but I think that we've done a good job, especially as it relates to small businesses. They may approach them differently, but a lot of them face similar circumstances. Well, I think there's a wide variety in the way that companies would like to contribute to benefits. A lot of companies take a different approach, whether, a lot of companies will say, well, I want to pay for 100% of the employee's premium and then a certain percentage of the employee's dependence premium. And I think that there's a lot of different approaches that companies take to making that contribution that fits within their model. They want to bring in bring in employees and retain those employees, attract good employees and retain the good employees. And so they want to, I think benefits is a big part of that. And so we've tried to take an approach that would allow or accommodate for those different approaches that a company has related to benefits. I'm trying to think about innovative solutions. I think that if just broadly speaking, our approach to offering medical coverage through our large group medical plan is very innovative and very unique, and definitely solves a problem that exists for small businesses, because one of the things that they face right now is if they're a small business, a lot of times they work with a carrier and it's community rated. So they all receive the same premium regardless of the makeup of their company. And so that's not entirely true. So I should probably create. They do pay the same premium based on whether they're the same age, same zip code, but not based on, I just don't know if I can say this. That's why I'm a little bit hesitant to say it. But the demographic would be the health of that group. So I think that if you back up, I would say that our large group medical plan is extremely innovative in that we're able to still underwrite that group based on their performance. And by doing so, often we're able to bring a less expensive, more competitive rate to our clients through that medical plan. And that's probably one of the most unique things about Helpside. Well, I mean, it is a challenge. Healthcare has become incredibly expensive everywhere. It is incredibly expensive, but I think that we do a good job in trying to make that as competitively priced as possible. Our approach is to make it as competitively priced. We do require that companies pay 100% of our least expensive single option. So there is something that has to be budgeted towards those benefits. But I think, based on the business that a company has, they may be required, in order to attract the employees that they want. Small businesses need to be able to offer a benefits package that's affordable both to their employees, but also affordable to them. And I think we do a great job in bringing something to the table that is focused on price sensitivity. We want to make sure that we are offering a product that is both competitive in the market, that will help them bring in new employees, help them retain their best employees, and still be affordable. Well, I think one of the big things right now that companies are considering is level funding. And I don't know if you've heard of level funding, but level funding is essentially an approach that is a self-funded approach. And what level funding is the company will, the underwriters of the policy will price it in such a way that the premiums are equal to stop loss coverage. So if a company experiences a terrible year in terms of health in their group and they spend 10 times their premium amount, they're still protected because that stop loss coverage comes in and covers everything above and beyond the premium that was set. The draw to them is that they are underwritten in those policies as well, so that if they have a young, healthy group, a lot of times it's going to be less expensive for them to take that approach. One of the things that's great about our medical plan is they still receive a lot of the same benefits that they would in a level funded environment, but they don't have to take on some of the additional administrative functions, and there's some reporting requirements that exist in level funding. But that's a big thing right now. A lot of companies are considering level funding as an approach to help mitigate expenses. But I think that our plan brings some of those benefits, but without having to do the additional work that comes along with level funding. I think there's a lot that I think that it's going to become more incumbent upon businesses to offer a plan that meets the needs of employees. We're seeing a little bit of a retraction in the government's willingness to fund the exchange. So people who have gone to the government in the past to receive subsidized coverage, it seems like there's a retraction in the government's willingness to continue to pay for that coverage, which has been an alternative, especially for really small businesses. They could send their employees out to the exchange to go get coverage. I think that we're seeing a little bit of a reversal in that the government's saying we're not as willing to maybe make those payments as they were in the past. And so it'll be more important for small businesses to have an option for their employees. I think, a lot of people will say it's the people I work with, but I think it's true. We have great people here, people that have the same goal in mind, that they want to take care of the customer. They want to do their best, and they find a lot of fulfillment in a job that, we're providing a real service that really benefits the lives of the employees we service and also the companies that we service. It's real in the sense that it has a lot of value. It's important. People really care about their pay and benefits. It's important to them and to their families. And so I feel like we provide a real legitimate service that is beneficial to the lives of our employees. And then I'd say, in addition to that, working with the other leaders in the team has been incredible. Just some of the best friends that I've ever had, and just very rewarding to work with them. So we have innovative business owners, founders that come to us needing help in their business. I think they need innovative approaches. That they have an innovative approach to their own business, and they need innovative approaches from us. And so I think we're way more than just an off-the-shelf computer program to process payroll. They need solutions that are tailored to their specific need. And I think that's what we bring to the table. I think that we've had, over the years, we've had some leaders that have come and have gone, and all of them have cared deeply about the success of Helpside, but in addition to that, they've cared about the success of our clients. It's interesting as research has been done, NAPIO actually has a white paper on the success rates of small businesses that are contracted with a PEO and those that are not. And those that are contracted with a PEO far and away succeed at a higher rate. And I think that we've always had leaders that have been focused on the success of our small businesses that we work with. So I think that one of the things that I find the most rewarding about my job, and I touched on this a little bit earlier, but it's the opportunity to help people. And oftentimes when they're in some of the most difficult parts of their life, whether it's a life insurance claim or a critical illness claim, it really is rewarding to be there and help provide a tremendous benefit to those families when something really tough has happened in somebody's life. Years ago, I remember a young woman came in and met with me. Her husband had recently passed away in an accident, and she came in with her 2 little girls, and we were able to talk through her life insurance, the life insurance policy that was on her husband, and how she would receive that payment and it'd be timely. And I just felt like, this is really, it's a terrible situation, but I'm so glad that this life insurance policy is in place and that we were able to provide it. And so I think for me, it's so cool to be able to see our benefits bring real value to the lives of our employees, and often when it's a terrible moment in their lives. Yeah, I think the world, is one thing that we see changing is that private equity comes in and is so concerned with the profit of that we lose sight of the individual at times. And that's one rewarding area in the benefit space, is that we're able to be there. And I think that's one thing that's really important to founders. Oftentimes, they're growing a small business and they form deep connections with their employees and want to take care of them. And so it's a space where, they bring these benefits to the table so that they can take care of them. And so that when there is something terrible that happens in their life, they can help. They could be there to support the employee. Yeah, undoubtedly. I think that, when you're really small and you're founding the organization and it's just beginning to grow, you probably develop really deep connections to your employees. But as you grow, that may become more difficult. But I think that you have an opportunity to foster a culture within your business that still is extremely rewarding to the employees. You still have an opportunity to build connections with individuals. We've seen that. We've watched companies that are really small come with us and grow tremendously. But I think for the business owners, still a lot of opportunities for it to be rewarding as they develop a culture that benefits the lives of a large group of people instead of just a smaller group. That's a great question. I think that we wouldn't really be able to serve our clients well if we didn't value culture and value our employees. And I think that that's definitely true here, that people come and we have very little turnover. And that's because they come here and they're appreciated. They love being part of the team. They love the people that they work with. And I think that permeates to our clients too, because because our employees see that. They want to share that and share those values with the client. I don't know. Is that... It's interesting. I was thinking about this and I was thinking, what have we seen over the last 10 or 15 years that might tell us what might continue to happen or I don't know that it's a huge, bold prediction, but we've seen tremendous growth in these 4 states. And I think a lot of it has to do with the community that exists in these states. There's industrious, hardworking individuals. We're very educated. I think it's an attractive place for people to come. And my bold prediction would be that we'll continue to see tremendous growth in the next 10 to 15 years. We'll still see a lot of growth. It's going to not require necessarily, but it'll be a great opportunity for small businesses to thrive and grow because of the increase in population, the increased need for real estate, the increased need for services across those states. I think we have a very scalable model in that we have the systems in place that are needed to scale our business. Growth is a challenging thing for all businesses, but I think we're at a stage where we have the systems in place that we can scale. It's important that we continue to bring in the right people and the people that fit our culture. But as long as we do that, I think that we have an opportunity to scale our business to meet continued need. Yes, I think that there's a lot of new technology that exists. And as in my space, it's important that I'm paying attention to what new technology might exist. So not only do we watch that and examine it, we have our own internal team that's developing products that are tailored specific to our clients and to what we need internally to build systems to take care of those clients. I think that we use Prism HR as the main tool, but I think that we could interchange that with other payroll software if there was something that was needed in the future. I do. Yeah, I use it all the time, to be honest. Grok is my favorite. I know you asked a question about mental health in the material, and I was thinking about, we've been, it's a big deal right now. And so I was examining several different mental health vendors, and I used, I don't remember if it was Grok or ChatGPT, but I used one of those to help examine what vendor might work the best for us. And so it really is the best. I'm trying to think about ways that we would use it that would be to the benefit. I don't think I have like an official approach, but we do use it to help us with, everything to writing communication, to developing policies, to making sure that we're compliant with all the federal and state regulations. But, I don't know. That's not always the best approach because sometimes it needs to be vetted. I think that a lot of times you can look at AI technologies and think, well, it's not very personable. Let me tell you a quick story. I have Spotify and was just listening to, I can't remember the artist, Olivia Dean's radio station on Spotify. And this new artist popped up named Kayla Cross. And I was like, wow, this is unbelievable. She is so talented. And I actually sent it to my daughters. I texted it to my daughters. I'm like, you got to check this out. This artist is like, if you haven't heard of her, you're going to hear about her. She's amazing. And a week later, my oldest daughter told me she's AI. She's not real. She's totally made up. The music, the voice, everything is AI. And if you haven't heard it, go listen to it because it's next level. It's so good. And we were both just so disappointed because it wasn't real. But so I think that there's this feeling sometimes that, what does AI mean to me? And maybe it's less personable. Maybe it's something that feels artificial or fake. But I think that it's a tool, and it's a tool that can be used to the benefit of people. And so I think that there's a lot that AI can do to assist us in helping us make good decisions about our own future, and specifically with benefits. I think that everybody has a varied experience. We have different risk tolerances. We have different medical events or different outcomes, but all those things, if we examine all those things, it can be really kind of confusing. And I think AI really come in and help us to refine that process and give us some confidence as we make decisions about what benefits we want or we need. It's an interesting question because how do you find somebody that has grit when they come work with you? And to some degree, that's part of the process. You come to work for a company, and then we find out what kind of grit you have. We've had moments in our history where we've been faced with a huge challenge. One of the things that we did is we migrated from one payroll software to another payroll software, and really we found that grit. One thing that was really interesting is we hired some consultants to help us with that process, and they said, told us multiple times, you will have less payroll people at the end of this process. And I always thought, because the software, they were saying the message was that the software is going to be so more efficient that you won't need the payroll people. That wasn't what they were saying at all. They were saying this is so challenging to do this process that you'll have some people that won't make it, that they will literally quit because this is going to be such a challenging job to accomplish. And it was challenging for benefits. It was challenging for payroll. I would be proud to say, though, that we didn't lose anybody. We were able to get through it. We all worked a lot of hours. We all had to show that grit. So I think that, when we bring people in, we look for people who have accomplished things in their life, that they've obtained a college degree, or they've done those, they've had experiences that have formed them to stick through a problem, to reach down deep and, get through a challenging circumstance. And those things are always, I think, some of the most rewarding things in an individual's career, is to be able to look back and say, we faced this tremendous challenge together and we were able to get through it. And I think that, that not only is personally fulfilling, it helps you for the next opportunity that you have to show grit. I think that what benefits look like now versus 20 years ago is completely different. And we've brought a lot of solutions to the table for our clients that I feel very, very proud to be able to offer, that we were able to bring analytics to our clients that help them with their decisions. One of the things that we accomplished recently was a revamp of our renewal. When we renew our clients on benefits each year, we send them, in the past, we just sent them, this is your old rate, here's your new rate, and this is maybe the % of increase. We've changed that whole process to be a very thorough document that provides analytics on who's enrolled, how it will change each individual's premiums. Here's how it looks for every single benefit, what people are enrolled in, how they're classified as an employee. We've really taken a much more comprehensive approach, and something that I feel very proud of it, because I don't think that it exists in the marketplace. It's not something that they would get from another carrier. And so, and one of those things, it's unique because we have information that another carrier wouldn't have. As a PEO, we have information about employees, their dependents. We have information about employees that maybe the carrier wouldn't have. And we're able to provide that all integrated into part of the renewal document. So that's one thing that I'm really proud of. I'm proud of the how we've embraced technology to benefit our employees and our businesses. We've really tried to take a proactive approach to make sure that we're maximizing the use of technology and making ourselves better, but also making it better for our clients. Yeah, no, that's great. I think one of the big things that we have that a lot of other companies don't have, even in our industry, is we have our own self-funded employee medical plan. And a lot of PEOs have a group medical plan, but it's brought to them by another carrier. So it's another person along the way or another entity along the way that needs to be able to make money in that process. And so by us being able to go directly to our clients and offer that large group medical plan without having that additional insurer in place, we're able to we have some flexibility in plan design, but we also have the ability to price that based on underwriting. And I would say it's the main driver that brings us business, that helps us retain business. I think that, a lot of companies would say that their customer service is next level. But I would say that our customer service legitimately is next level. I've heard so many times clients send us a note or give us a review or whatever, where they've talked about our exceptional customer service. And I think that's rare nowadays for employees and companies. Think about your own customer service experiences. It's just so lacking. And I think that we do differentiate ourselves in the market by providing exceptional customer service. It was actually June of 1999. We did take a risk in that we looked at the market and we thought, how can we continue to offer the most competitive product to our clients? And it was actually Rick Bartholomew had the idea that we would develop our own self-funded insurance policy. And so since 1999, June of 1999, we've had our own self-funded health insurance policy, or it's not insurance technically, our own self-funded policy. And through partnering with the right people to evaluate risk and to process claims, and through just good management techniques, we've been able to help that plan grow and thrive. And it's what we're able to bring to the market with our clients. And so they come to us and they participate. They essentially get the benefits of a self-funded medical plan without actually having to be the one that is providing that coverage, because there's taxes that have to be paid, there's reporting that has to occur, there's additional expenses with hiring actuaries to make sure it's properly funded. You have to hire a TPA to process claims. All those things exist if you were to do that on your own. You have to buy stop loss insurance. All those things you have to take care of. And the benefit that you get from that is that you're able to often keep your claims costs low. You get to benefit when your group performs well. Well, our clients get to benefit regardless, because we're able to bring competitively priced products, but the client doesn't have to do any of the work that's associated with being a self-funded employer. There's vendors out there that will help companies with that process, but oftentimes you're taking on additional risk, because if your claims exceed your premiums, the company, and oftentimes that's when we were talking about level funding, that's the difference. And traditionally, self-funding, you said, okay, I'm going to pick a stop loss limit. Say that it's $100,000. That's my stop loss limit. Any claim that's over $100,000 would be covered by the stop loss carrier. But there might be a gap. Your premiums for the year might only be $50,000. So you'd collect $50,000 in premiums, both as an employer sponsor and through employee contributions. And then if you had claims in that gap, then the sponsor, the employer, would have to pay the additional $50,000 before they got to their stop loss. Level funding is that in that scenario, their stop loss coverage would be at $50,000. So there would be no gap. They would just pay their premium and nothing in addition to that. But you can imagine, the more risks you take, the more opportunity there is to do well, but also the opportunity to not do well at the same time. But we take all of that risk off the table for our clients to get all the benefit of self-funding without taking on the risk. If they have a bad year, oh well. I think that you'll be talking to Justin, I believe, tomorrow, but he manages our workers' compensation program. It's not a self-funded environment, but it's similar in some ways, and he can tell you more about that program. But we bring to the table a very innovative approach related to workers' compensation, in that it's a very closely managed process. We have a safety professional on staff who helps companies to make sure that they're operating a safe working environment for their employees. I don't know if that's one that really is like, wow, this is going to be all the difference, but it's one of those things that it does definitely make a difference and is important to companies. I do think that our organization's done a really good job with risk management, and that is such a critical component in offering benefits. It's critical to offering workers' compensation insurance. It is critical to the operation of our business, and I believe that we've taken a very conservative approach that's allowed us to be competitive, but also ensure that we are going to be a good solution in the future. And there are competitors most definitely out there that are not concerned about risk management. And it's unfortunate because it can be to the detriment of the company. It can be to the detriment of the individuals. We've even seen some competitors in our space go out of business because they didn't pay enough attention to risk management.